What's going on, people? Welcome to United View. Good morning. Welcome to your latest Manchester United transfer rumours, your Man United therapy, your Man United discussion community, whatever you need it to be. That's what it is. Smiles on faces. It's Monday morning. We're getting to the end. Well, halfway through. No, some teams have played two, so we're nearing the end of international break, especially towards
Oh,
this
the
midweek. I
international
know
break.
it's
Yeah.
not quite there yet, is it, Owen? But we're nearly there.
No.
We've got a lot to talk about as per usual on all the morning shows. A keeper switch. Oblak in, De Gea out. Could that be a thing? Could that be a
Yeah.
thing? We're going to look at that because the De Gea thing and the goalkeeper thing won't go away. I was reading some of the comments as well. Some people saying like, "Oh, what's this? Always an agenda against De Gea. He's done this, he's done that." And some people sort of saying, it's needed, but we'll talk about what that will look like. Triple injury boost. Have we got some players back? Or is it players that are just coming back that are unscathed? We'll talk about that. Min-jae interest.
Oh,
What is that account called again? Who always says it?
I think they're United View Scout at this point. I think.
Right. And we might need to make our own button just for them of you all laughed at me. If
Oh,
because for some reason
unbelievable.
Kim Min-jae just won't go away.
They're in the chat. They're in the chat this morning. Good. I
Right.
hope they were in the chat because I feel like when you put something out into the universe this much and then it does happen, you deserve your flowers. So
You do.
we're gonna
You
get
do.
into that.
And Henderson's England chances as well. He's been talking a little bit about some of his chances of playing in the World Cup for England. Not this summer. This autumn.
This winter.
This winter. Yeah, not this
Yeah.
summer. But what we saying, Owen? What we got here? De Gea out, Oblak in, keeper switch.
This was a really surprising one, not in the sense of possible replacements for David De Gea, because as time goes on and as his contract gets closer to expiring, and as we see performances and how Eric Ten Hag wants to play, the conversation about needing a replacement goalkeeper for David De Gea has been ongoing and growing bigger and bigger and bigger. So to hear Jan Oblak be involved in this is kind of surprising. This comes from Tom Hopkinson from the Sunday Mirror saying Atletico Madrid will consider selling Jan Oblak in January, and Manchester United are understood to be monitoring his situation. Atletico are looking at Aston Villa's Emiliano Martinez as a potential replacement. Oblak is out of contract in the summer of 2023. Now, again, it's not the first thing we've heard about De Gea this weekend or over the last few days anyway, because Mike McGrath from the Daily Telegraph also reported over the weekend that Manchester United are weighing up whether to trigger David De Gea's contract option to extend to 2024. United are assessing their long-term plan, and a change of number one could bring the likes of, I guess, Oblak and also Jordan Pickford, who's also been put into the frame as well. I guess start off with Oblak first. I was really surprised by this. We were talking about this last night. We were doing sort of the pre-show meeting yesterday evening. And we're looking at the stories, what we're going to talk about. And Oblak's a weird one because if this was 3 years ago, you would go, well, that's not a bad signing for Manchester United. But it's not. I look at Oblak, and again, good goalkeeper, a great goalkeeper, actually. Good's probably a bit harsh. Great goalkeeper. His record's very good. I think last season he had a bit of a poor season, actually. I remember you talking to Semra Hunter, and she was saying, actually, he's not had the best season this season. But I look at Jan Oblak and I go, him and De Gea, in terms of their qualities, there's not a lot of difference there. We're talking about keepers that could be really progressive with the ball at their feet and their distribution and are comfortable playing out from the back, comfortable playing in tight spaces, not just about the hands, about the feet as well. And I don't see Oblak being that guy, it must be said. Now, again, you're turning your nose up at Jan Oblak. Well, we're turning our noses up at David De Gea for the same reasons, right? So I don't know. It's an odd one. What do you think about this?
The same. It's like it feels like they're one in one. It's like they possess similar attributes. I mean, you can say that De Gea's Oblak is probably more commanding, maybe but in
Maybe,
terms
yeah,
of
and claiming the ball, but
and claiming the ball, obviously he's younger than David De Gea, but I don't see like much in it. In fact, I'm just looking at the thing. David De Gea is actually taller than him, which that's a weird perception, isn't it? Like you'd think, off my memory of just seeing Oblak, I see him as like a bit
big rangy
taller, a bit more
keeper.
lanky. Yeah, but
Yeah.
actually, just factually, De Gea is 192, 192 meters, and Oblak's 188.
192 meters. How tall
Sorry,
is he? Oh my
sorry.
goodness.
1.88. Yes.
He is tall. He is tall.
David De Gea is 1.92. But do you know what I mean? It's like I feel like their skill set is quite similar. You know, especially when Oblak was the flavor of the month, which he was for
Yeah.
a good few years. And I'm not saying he's awful now, and I definitely haven't been
Mm.
watching him this season, but it just feels like a bit of a similar mold to David De Gea. I don't think that he's renowned or particularly well known for playing out from the back, etc., etc. If we did get him again, you'd have to. I think Eric Ten Hag will clearly be involved in this process, and that's where this is weird because we're only going to be looking to move David De Gea on because of Eric Ten Hag. You know what? If it's the old regime just in control of everything, half the stuff that's happened already wouldn't even have happened. It's Eric Ten Hag.
Yeah.
We know that, and we can see with how we're playing. Well, actually, the lack of how we're playing now because it went wrong so early on, and it's not part of David De Gea's skill set. We really haven't seen it since. Sharif doesn't count because they literally just let us have the ball. That's different. Teams,
Yeah.
there'll be some teams that do that, but most Premier League games will put somewhat of a press, especially if they start seeing us trying to play out from the back. They'll smell blood. So if he did go for Oblak, you'd have to get behind it in terms of believing in what Ten Hag's got planned for us and him and the goalkeeping department. But it does feel a little bit off. It doesn't fill me with that's the one. That's the one
Yeah.
we've needed all along. That completely different to David De Gea. Going to offer us a completely different dimension. But this is Eric Ten Hag, and you know, if he has stuff up his sleeve that we might think that's a bit off, but it makes it work.
If we signed Jan Oblak, it would be in keeping with the transfer strategy that we've had over the past decade, where we sign players by name and we sign players that would have been good for Manchester United 3 or 4 or 5 years prior. And you go, but why? Why? Where is the player on the ascendancy there? And again, it's not to say that Jan Oblak is a bad player because he's not. What he's achieved and what he can still do is very high up there. But at the same time, again, we're saying the same things about David De Gea. It's not as if David De Gea is a bad goalkeeper. He hasn't become a bad goalkeeper overnight. David De Gea this season has still made important saves. He'll continue to make important saves throughout the entirety of this season. But for what Manchester United need, specifically for what Eric Ten Hag needs, he doesn't have the quality or the criteria to fit that. And again, that's no slight against him, but then you go, okay, who are we replacing him with? You go Jan Oblak. You go, well, we might as well just clone De Gea and put him
Yeah,
there. It's the same. It's the same thing. These pictures, they're both the same picture essentially. So you don't get a goalkeeper out of a Diego Simeone team and go, yeah, it's progressive ball playing out the back. They don't do that. He's never done that, and he'd almost be set up to somewhat fail at Manchester United. Honestly, to expect to pick up Jan Oblak and put him in a side that's meant to be playing out from the back, and then him not succeed at that, you go, oh, he's a flop, he's rubbish. You go, well, no, he's put in a position that he can't do it. He doesn't have the qualities to do it. It's the same with David De Gea. So I look at this and I think maybe United might just be alerted because they maybe heard, I don't know, that they heard he might be available, and parts of the club go, oh, Jan Oblak, I've heard that name. I've heard that name before. He's good, isn't he? We should be signing him. But also, you might look at it, like they said, he's out of contract this summer. What do you do when you want a new contract? Hey, United are interested. United are circling around. So you have to be
yeah,
aware of that. I'll be honest though, even the sort of other part of that, the one over the weekend saying, well, United, shouldn't they trigger the extension for De Gea's contract? Hearing the name Jordan Pickford surrounding that also concerns me, Fleck. What do you think about that?
well, we'll get onto that just really quickly. United View Scout, which is the famous account that has been doing this Kim Min-jae stuff,
Ah,
says it was just me, bruv. As in, it was just me alone. It wasn't just everyone else talking about Kim Min-jae. It was me. And United View Scout also says, Flex, I was sending you super chats on Kim Min-jae a few weeks before you split from the United stand. You ignored them because you thought I was sending some nefarious messages. I don't remember. Maybe I thought, I don't know. Maybe because I hadn't heard of Kim Min-jae, I was like, "Oh, is that a real? Are you trying to like do me over?" You know those super chats that get you to try
yeah.
and say something. And I wasn't being rude. I just didn't know. So I don't even remember that as well. So even as long back as that, that's crazy because that was. When did we leave United stands?
21.
May 21, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then July. Yeah, I started this. So yeah, that's crazy. That's a long time. That's a long time to be right.
Yeah.
Well, you're still not technically right because he plays somewhere else, but you were right about him really being a decent player and just popping up all the time and being on the radar. definitely massive props to you. Um,
100%.
and just before we get on to Jordan Pickford, remember to smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. And remember, pinned at the top of the chat, you can vote for us at the Football Content Awards, whatever category you guys see fit. Please, it would be great to get the channel an award for all the hard work everyone's been doing here at the channel, and for you guys as well, your award as well, for helping build this community in such a short space of time. We're on our road, on the road to 100 and I'd say 125k if we're rounding it in a nice little little subsections, little milestones. 125k, then we'll look at 130. But yeah, get your likes in, and let's go from there. But yes, so from that Oblak situation, there was a little bit before that. There was Pickford. I mean, look, remember I said to you the other day, I was reading an article that was basically bigging Pickford up and basically ripping up this narrative that they claimed is a narrative that he's not he's not as mistake prone as people make him out to be. He's actually quite reliable, especially this season and last season. Did I think of Pickford any differently? I'm not gonna lie, I had the same bias after reading a few paragraphs of the article. Is that a bit ignorant of me? Maybe, because I feel like I've just made my mind up of Pickford that I think he's a good shot stopper, but I still think he's a bit erratic. He's got a good kick on him. He does have a good kick on him. He's decent with his feet. But I don't know. Maybe I think that probably is English bias, but the other way around, where I've just made my mind up on Pickford. It would take a lot for me to unpick that. I could admit that. I think.
What a pun that is! Unpick that. Oh, you don't even know you're doing it.
I didn't even know. I actually didn't even know.
Incredible.
I can unpick that. That's a good one, isn't it? Yeah.
Very, very good.
It's one of the ones that don't work if you know as well. It's better that I didn't know that I said that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can admit maybe I got a little bit of a bias there that I would think Pickford. Nah, I'd rather go in a different direction. But
I think with Pickford, look, he does have good games. When he played against obviously Liverpool just a couple of games ago in the Premier League,
he was outstanding in that game.
He was brilliant, and he has had games like towards the end of last season for Everton.
He was saving them up. He was keeping them up.
Really good, and he has those games in his locker where he just suddenly does feel like undefeatable. But you need more than that at Manchester United. You need to have consistency. You need to have composure, which I think sometimes he does lack. Obviously, you could talk about maybe the physical qualities that maybe he doesn't possess. Obviously he's a shorter keeper, and he can be seen as somewhat erratic at times. I just think there are better options. I think Jordan Pickford, again, it's not to say he's a bad keeper, but is he to the level of Manchester United for where we want to be, or where we want to be in a couple of years' time? If Erik ten Hag, and I think it is, his long-term plan is to be competing for titles or major trophies, do we get that with Jordan Pickford in goal? I think there are better options. And I think there are other people that are more capable of taking the step up, or are just more proficient with their feet than Jordan Pickford. I think if we're going to go in that direction, which we are, we should strive for trying to find the best, or someone that can be the best. I don't think Jordan Pickford is that, to be honest. We could be in a situation where also it comes into we can't get those options, so we go for Pickford. But I think Pickford as well would actually be quite an expensive option, to be honest, for Manchester United.
English would demand
Premier League club.
Money.
And he's done a lot for them. So I just don't think that would be the right option for us to go down. And clearly we're going down that route. It is going to be fascinating whether United decide to trigger that extension or not.
That's the thing there I wanted to talk about, because the bit where it says, they're weighing up whether to extend it or not, because we spoke about this, didn't we? And the chat did as well, about, well, what is the De Gea thing? Do you trigger to try and sell him? And then your argument, and I actually agreed with you in the end, was that there's not much mileage in De Gea. You got to cut your losses. He's on massive money, and you trigger to extend, and then he stays as number 2 that season. Then what do you do? That's even worse than this position.
Yeah.
So I agreed with you there, and maybe Man United are weighing up the same thing. It isn't as easy as they think. You think to yourself, okay, is he a Man United legend? I'd say he's up there as one of our best keepers, obviously, ever.
Stats are right up there.
Stats are right up there. So I'd say he's a Man United legend. I'd say that. He's the only one in this squad, apart from Phil Jones, to have won something significant within this crop of players. And then you say to him, title, thank you for your, then you say, thank you for your services, for your services. We'll let it run down, and you can just go and find what you want to find. You don't have the stigma of transfer fees, and you'll be out of contract anyway. So that, because also actually the club Do you know what? The more I think about it, because to get away from this, he's on 375 grand a week. Like, that's Ash. That is crazy money. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that David De Gea didn't go up in increments and out of his service, who deserves it. I get all that, but in the way that the club's trying to move forward, these things need phasing out. And again, I always go back to Arsenal. It's the same with Aubameyang. It's the same with Ozil. There's players that are on your highest wage budgets that the squad goes in a different direction, and you have to move those players on. Now with De Gea, there hasn't been a breakdown in communication or relationship. Everybody loves him still. He's still playing. He's still the number one. So it's different in that case. He doesn't need hounding out or dropping or nothing like that. But whilst it's in our power, which it is in our power, there is a little bit of ruthlessness I think we do need to show. We can't
Yeah.
make decisions off heartfelt things and heartstrings and sentiment of, let's just give him a new contract because it is De Gea and then he can sign a new deal somewhere else. Or, sorry, give him a new contract and then we can maybe get a bit of money for him. And because that could get quite messy, like you said. So I think we need to actually probably let him run it down. If Ten Hag is saying we're going to go in a new direction, then that's what I think we should do.
No, I agree. I think that if you trigger that extension until 2024, he doesn't go until 2024, because I don't think De Gea is a situation where you can trigger to sell, because there will be plenty of clubs that will look at it and go, we can't pick up that
Can't pick
contract.
it up, yeah.
We can't unless he's going to go on a free transfer, which by that point, why wouldn't you just let the contract run down then anyway?
Yeah.
That's what it would
Well,
be.
he's gonna have to
And
take a
again,
pay cut wherever he goes. He's not gonna
yeah,
get another contract at
he's not going
370 grand a
to
week.
exactly. And again,
Impossible.
that would be the point as well. That again, he might weigh that up. Go, well, I'll do an extra year. I'm not getting in the national team, so it's not as if I
Yeah.
need to play to be playing international football, because
But
they've
we
already
can
made
take
their
that
mind up
option
on
away
me.
from him by not even offering him a new deal.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Plus, and again, you can end it in a more, shall we say, civilized manner, because you can say, look, it expires at the end of the season. You've been here over a decade. You get a testimonial on the way out. You get a big thing. We all celebrate David De Gea, what he's achieved, his tenure at
Yeah.
Manchester United, and we go in a different direction. It can be. That's the way it should be handled. And that's why you should handle a player like David De Gea, who has put in a lot of time and a lot of service through some pretty shitty years at times at Manchester United.
Oh,
You should handle
exactly.
those. You should
100%.
handle those players properly and with respect. And that feels like that would be the way to do it. Not, okay, we're going to trigger it because we want to get a bit of money for you, even though we're probably not going to get that much money for you. And then if we do trigger it, the player's like, I don't want to leave, and then you have to force him out. And then
Exactly.
it could just get really messy and complex for a situation where how much money are you really going to make when it comes to David De Gea? We've got our return on investment there. He's been here over a decade.
Yeah, that's one of the
should we be
players you
looking
say
at?
you've got value for money for.
Exactly,
You know what I mean?
exactly. Why are we looking for 5-10 million at that point?
Yeah.
It's just do it right, basically.
And would be relying on, in football, things like gentlemen's agreements, as they call them. It's like they're all right in principle, but when it gets to it, it can get messy, because you could say that, what if there's a gentleman's agreement that they made it clear to David that, listen, we are going to extend your contract, but it's to keep you with a little bit of value.
Yeah.
Our plan is to listen to offers for you. So you and your agent need to find a solution for that. No problem. I get it. I love Manchester United. I want the best for the club as well whilst I leave. Let's shake hands on, you extending my contract, but with the view to having it keep value, and I'll look for a new club. But then the clubs that come in for him, I don't know, it could be someone like, and this is just off the top of my head, Besiktas. I just don't fancy going there though. We've only had Besiktas and I don't know, one in Brazil. I just don't fancy going there. So sorry, it's not really the deal I was looking for. Well, I know you said that, David, but there's 3 weeks left of the window. I know we're looking. Then there's 1 week. Verona have come in. It's not. Do you know what I mean? Or I know that I'm just clutching at the teams, but do you know what I mean?
That's what can happen, Or
That's
then it's
what
like,
can happen.
okay, I want to play this season. I go out on loan, but the loan club goes, we can't touch any of his wages. We're still paying for a player that's not at the club. It can get just overly complicated.
It can get really complicated.
Where you don't need to. You don't need to do it. But to be honest, let's be honest here. Would I be shocked if they went, yeah, we've triggered it for an extra year? I would not be shocked in the slightest. I wouldn't be surprised.
And that was off me
honest.
initially saying, before I discussed it with you and just opened out my thinking, really, I was behind, trigger to sell, but actually I agree. We can't because there's just too much. You can't sell him. How do you sell a player who's on that much money? Because then you're saying to David De Gea, we're selling you, but obviously you're going to have to take a huge pay cut. But he's already got the reassurance of, well, I'm not saying David De Gea would, but you're giving him an option to be able to stay right. I'll stay being number 2. I'll play in whatever league, Champions League, Europa League, whatever we're in.
I'll play Carabao
I'll
Cup
play
games. I'll play
Carabao Cup.
FA
It's
Cup.
only 1 year. It'll be my last year. I'm still on the big P's, and that's a problem for us. That's a massive, massive problem for us. VK has been a member for 4 months of the UV Members Club. Big up to you. Says David De Gea deserves his testimonial and leave as a free agent. His wages are crazy for a keeper, but still top 5 keeper. And I pretty much agree with most of that. Pretty much all of it. Yeah, top 5. Is he still top 5? I think
he can still be effective in a club that isn't playing, ball out the back. You look at someone like Courtois. Courtois isn't the best, proficient person with his feet, but that Real Madrid side doesn't really play like that much. They might shift towards that in the future. I don't know, but they won a Champions League final last in the summer, with Courtois being the man of the match because he's a great shot stopper. Whilst the goalkeeping position is evolving and it's moving towards being more of a sweeper, as opposed to being, the traditional goalkeeper, the fundamentals of goalkeeping are still the same, i.e. you need to be good with your hands, you need to have good reflexes, good agility. But as with every position on the pitch, it's evolving. And it's also dependent on the system that your team plays. The goalkeeper type that David De Gea is no longer sufficient for what Manchester United play or what Erik ten Hag plays. If he went to another club, if David De Gea went to Atletico to replace Oblak, regardless of where he goes, you would think he would do really well there.
Go back to Atletico. That could happen.
Yeah, that's the style that he's proficient in, and he'd be a perfect fit, really, for him. So again, I always stress this. It doesn't make them bad goalkeepers. It just makes it that they're not the right goalkeeper for the team that they're in.
Yeah, exactly. Get your likes in, people. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. The link is in the video descriptions below to join the membership as well if you'd like to join the UV Members Club. And also pinned to the top of the chat in the blue bar, please vote for us at the Football Content Awards. I think we're nominated for 3 different awards. Please go and vote as well. You can do that on Twitter, you can do that on their website, and also you can do that on Instagram as well. Football Content Awards, just type that in, you shall see it. And you can also, like I said, it's linked in the chat as well and in the description below. Triple fitness boost, Owen.
Yes the worries seemingly have been nearly averted for Manchester United, because we were worried about specific players going on international duty, namely Varane. I think you had a bit of a scare last night, didn't you, when you heard Varane's on the bench or Varane's not in the starting 11? You thought, what? Why?
Listen, mate, he's still got to travel. Like, he's still got to walk, like from from coach to the plane, and then get down the steps on the plane, and it just, let's just wait.
You think he's going to be in one of those inflatable balls? He's just going to be rolling around,
just rolling
like that. But yes, people like Rafael Varane, Christian Eriksen, and Terrell Malacia have all completed their international games without picking up injuries. Of course, the next stop is, the Manchester derby this Sunday. And you would think, Flex, they're all going to start, right? Varane, Eriksen, 100%. Malacia. Even, did you see with Malacia, did you see the Louis van Gaal video?
I did. Louis van Gaal's up his arse now. Loves him.
Unbelievable.
Imagine moving to Man United could be good for your career, Louis.
Who knew? Who knew?
Us, Louis.
And to be fair, I would make the same noise that Louis van Gaal made, because the goal, go and watch it, guys. He's outside of the boot, outside of the foot, like curls it round like that. And you just hear Louis van Gaal go, "Oh, Malacia." It's brilliant. It's excellent. So
also,
go
to see Eriksen running the midfield against France as well.
I was going to get some stats this morning, but I'm going to be honest, Flex. I saw them and I thought, I don't want to get Flex too excited.
Nah, just leave it. It's not. It's just
we don't need to turn it into that kind of show. But there were quite a few highlights on social media, weren't there? There was one of him doing crossfield passes. Denmark won as well, and you can look at it 2 ways. You can look at Denmark won because Eriksen was playing. France lost because Varane wasn't playing. It's all surrounded by Manchester United. That's what really matters here, But yeah, I mean, talking about Varane, when do we have to start getting excited that maybe?
Oh, I'm sorry, huh? Sorry.
Wow.
When do we have to do? You all laughed at me and you said it'll never. Sorry, huh? When do we have to what? Sorry, what did you say?
Be careful. I was just going to say, when do we have to give, Varane and I guess Manchester United to an extent, Erik ten Hag, his team, credit for this was a guy that was getting injured all the time last season. He's played, 4 Premier League games in a row out of injury. He's gone through an international break without getting injured. When do we have to praise everyone
Mm,
involved?
yeah. Well,
Breaking news: Varane out of the Manchester derby, pulls a hamstring in training.
he'll probably get injured in a warm up.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, I told you so's and all that. That's not my style. It's not. So,
And
at
it's
the end of
early
the
to be
day,
doing that.
yeah, it's early to be doing that. I'm just glad. I'm just glad that he is proving that he is beginning to show why the narrative that he was just carried by Ramos and that, he's always going to get injured. My thing
We
was
haven't
always
signed a
this.
dud. We haven't signed
Yeah.
a dud.
My thing was always this, yeah. And like you said, it is early. In all honesty, let me do no banner. My thing was always this. I was always so confident in Varane that like I'd seen him play long spells. Like it wasn't like he was always injured. Like always, always, always. Like he wasn't as bad as Eric Bailly. He wasn't. Like he's been there for 10 years and won loads of stuff in a
Mm.
star-studded team. He'd been there ever present in the French team in big tournaments, winning the biggest prize of them all. He's been there all the time.
Yeah.
All them Champions League wins that they had, he was there. It wasn't like, oh, he was injured for most of it, came in the final or the semis, and just he was there, ever present. Like obviously during the season they managed his injuries. Yes, I get that, and we saw it. But what my point was that there's got to be a way that is individualized for him to get him to be okay, and that's where I think the credit is deserved at Eric Ten Hag and his medical team, or if we've got the same medical team, the coaches and how they handle him and the plan that he's been on. Because Eric Ten Hag told us it straight away, straight off the bat, in like the first couple of games of the season when he started to play. Or sorry, after the first couple of games where he was like, this is why we're basically seeing a good Rafa, because we put him on a plan straight away. Because we was all concerned. I was concerned for him because I thought he would have been one of the first people playing because he's Varane. But actually, because he wants him to be one of the first people playing, Eric Ten Hag had to basically strip him down to build him back up again.
Because
And they've
he
handled it
missed a
perfectly.
couple of games in pre-season
He
through
did.
it felt like injury
It
or
felt
something
like it,
like
but
that.
clearly it
Yeah,
wasn't. It was making him not
yeah.
do too much.
Because it was like, oh, what's he doing? Because I don't think he played maybe the first two or something like that. He played one and then missed like two or something
Yeah,
like that. And we were like, oh, what's going on here? He can't even get through preseason. I think I said that.
yeah,
He can't
yeah.
get through preseason. How is he going to get through an entire season? And yeah, again, I think that Ten Hag and his team and Varane deserve a ton of credit. It felt like last season, in retrospect, he just never recovered from that period of time. When he was out for ages, he got hurt. I think it was on international duty.
Yeah.
He then came back for it was the game against Spurs, one of Ollie's final games. He shouldn't have played in that game. He got
Yeah,
rushed
he got
back,
bloody injured.
and then coming out of that was another international break, and I think he got injured again. And it was
Yeah.
just this block of time that he missed. And then by that point, he was always sort of chasing fitness and always coming back maybe
It
too
was.
soon or
And the
whatever.
team
he
had
just
collapsed.
kept
And the team had collapsed by then as well.
exactly.
Like it
He
was
wasn't coming
shocking.
in. Yeah, he
Yeah.
wasn't coming into a functioning team. And it just wasn't working out clearly for him. And you do worry by that point because again, it's so stop start, and maybe he does get scrutinized. Maybe got scrutinized a little bit too much because again, everyone was out for blood net last season because one person sort of failing. It's like, why aren't you playing? Why aren't you playing well? This, that, and the other. So there was concern. And like I said, through preseason, when he was seeing the stop start stuff again, I was thinking, here we go. Like, what have we signed? But now it's got to the point now where we're praying he doesn't get injured because if he does, you've got no one to replace him in terms of quality.
No.
That level of
another
quality.
thing we have to big up as well is the team that Eric Ten Hag's built for each and every individual player that we talk about. They're all good in their individual right of what they bring to the team to help it, but also they're also thriving off the other 10 players they're playing with that are now playing differently and giving something different. So any player coming into the team now is coming into what looks like a fairly settled team. Ten Hag is he knows his best 11 now. I think we all know that. We can see what his best 11 is. The only slight question mark, because we've got an idea, is when Martial's fit. But, either Sancho or Rashford has to sit. So there's a question mark there as to what would happen when Martial's like full fitness. Because you'd think he goes straight to the 9,
You would think so.
And then you'd think
options.
Anthony continues at right wing. But if he doesn't, I think Mina said it yesterday, obviously it's the first 3 games he's been here since the goal against Arsenal was fantastic. but he has been a little bit. It's going to take him time, and that's no problem. So then Ten Hag might start, letting them rotate with Sancho and Anthony, if he sees that on the right hand side. Because there's something about Marcus that I just think Ten Hag really likes. I think he really likes Sancho too. He does, but I see Sancho moving around more than Rashford. I feel like Rashford's just mainly going to stay on the left. It's different because there was no Martial and there was no Ronaldo. So, okay, fair enough. Put Rashi up front, make him run. That's fine. But I think in the long run, I just see him. If Martial's fit, I don't see Rashford ever going out on the right. But I see. Do you know what I mean?
This is why I'm saying I don't think Cody Gakpo's off the table, because I really do think the more that time goes on and the more that Rashford plays up front, he might just say, you know what? Let's sign Cody Gakpo. He can be the other left winger. And then my striking options are Martial and Rashford. That's not to say that they're amazing striking options. Or you can say Rashford's not a number 9. I'm with you. I don't think Rashford is a number 9. I think he's far more effective on the left-hand side. We saw that against Arsenal when he did shift out to the left-hand side. Suddenly he gets all of this space and he gets goals. But I just think as time goes on, I agree with you that you can tell Ten Hag really likes him. And it's the same with Martial. You get the impression that once he's decided that he likes someone, that's it. They're backed and they're in that position. So I don't know. Like, it's gonna the starting 11 against City is going to be fascinating for that, isn't it? Depending on who's available. And but then you think about it with when I said options, that say Martial is fit and it is Rashford off the left and Anthony off the right. You've then got Sancho on the bench to bring on. You've got Ronaldo to come on. I think Elanga.
These are the things.
I think Elanga actually played well against. Was it Liverpool? He started and he hit the post.
Yeah, he did.
I thought he did well in that first half. So they're positive options to bring on, which you go, actually, that can change the game a bit. When Ronaldo came on against Arsenal for 60 minutes, he changed the game, really, because the Arsenal defence were like, actually, we're not really sure how to deal with him here. We thought it was just going to be, this sort of fluid front three, and Ronaldo changes things a little bit. So
it gives us different options. And that's what he always talks about. DJ says, Super Chat says, we all owe Flex an apology. Listen, you don't. Nobody owes me anything. All that's owed is to the players to give them our support. That's it. I don't want apologies. It's fine. And also, it is still a bit early, DJ.
It's
I ain't
early
trying
for
to jinx
apologies.
nothing.
Yeah.
But it's like, I need
the same thing.
I need at least past Christmas of all of like Varane constantly being there. At least. That's like minimum, isn't it? Because I just know that people say about the judge and that as soon as anything happens with Varane, they're all gonna at me. So I'm not saying anything. Put this on record. Remember, I said this, that at a point where I could have taken some early praise and really rained down on it and said, what are you saying now? Yeah, look, no. Yeah. I'm just happy to see him playing week in, week out, and being the Varane that I always knew he could be. I hope it stays like that. I'm going to read out some of the members' priority chats as well, because the members do get their priority chats, and I think it's important to do that, not just super chats, because it is one of the perks that you get for being a UV member. If you'd like to be a UV member, you can do that. The link is in the video description below. But I'm going to read out some of the priority chats. Witterbird says, I do flex. I said Varane would be the most improved player this season. McTominay and Dalot are second and third. WJ Barrett said, no one is as bad as Biscuit Bailly. Yes, it's...
Don't tell Faz that.
Don't tell Faz that. Yeah, don't tell Faz that. David Lee says, like, share, and subscribe, please. 100%. I echo that. And United View Scout said, it's all good, Flex. I accept your apology. No problem. I think you was due that as well. And Jay Ramon. What's actually nice in the chat is all of the members and stuff are having conversations with themselves and just catching up and saying hello. Haven't seen each other for a while, so that's also good to see.
Also, if you're a member, you get access to UV Raw, the behind the scenes look at all the day-to-day goings on at United View. Latest episode dropped Friday, I believe, episode 4. Another one to come out this week. A little bit of a teaser, I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe this week's episode shows the fallout from our victory over Arsenal. Now, of course, if you know Josh, all I'm saying is it's a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. There was a fun few weeks there. And also, Flex, before we moved on, over 1,000 people watching, only 162 likes.
Come on, guys.
I feel like I don't want to get graphic in the morning. I feel like I'm going to be sick.
Yeah. That's like, to be fair, that's like proper low compared to like
10%.
Come on. Let's go. Let's go. We can do better than that, peeps. We can do better. So big up to you guys there if you can do that. And remember to vote for us at the Football Content Awards as well. Link is in the video description and it's pinned in the chat. You can do that on Instagram, Twitter, and their website as well. So let's do that. Let's do that. Owen, moving on. What we got next?
Kim Min-jae, we've
Oh
got
my
next.
God.
Yes, we've got, we're talking about flowers this morning, flowers to United View Scout, because they are doing the premier scout report. The actual UV Scout is going to have some competition on his hands because according to outlets based in Turkey, actually CNN in Turkey, which you would say, why are we talking about Turkey? Well, of course, that's where he used to play previously. He was a defender for Fenerbahce. They're reporting that Manchester United will hold talks with Napoli in January over the transfer of South Korean centre-back Kim Min-jae. United are reportedly determined to sign him. Sport Witness, this is what's funny. It was reported as this guy, Giuseppe Canella, right? Who they've said sporting director in brackets. And you go, oh, sporting director of Napoli. No, he's just a sporting director.
Yeah.
I guess.
It's A of some other club.
A sporting director. No, I don't even think he's employed at the moment. I think he might be doing like Italian TV or something like that. It's saying Manchester United on Kim. Napoli must think about it immediately. If they come for Kim, you have to get another one like him, basically. So,
just saying, if I was Napoli.
If I was Napoli, I'd accept it and buy another centre back because that's what I do as a sporting director. It was a very bizarre quote. But another centre back, like, okay, let's take the Kim Min-jae stuff out of it because, like you, obviously, we've heard a lot about him from United View Scout on the channel. But when he was signed by Napoli, both of us went, okay, must be all right. I think he scored in his debut for Napoli. I saw that on social media. I think did he score in the Champions League as well the other week? I keep seeing his name. My point being,
It's just popping up.
I keep seeing his name everywhere. But let's just take that out of it. If we are going after a centre back, what does that mean? Why would we be going after another centre back in January when you think there would be other positions that might be bigger priorities?
We're not going for another centre back in January.
We're not going for Kim Min-jae?
I'm not. United View Scout, I'm not gonna crush his dreams and say like, he's never gonna play for Man United. Because I want I want United. We've come this far. I want United View Scout to be right. Actually, it'd be an amazing story.
Mate, can you imagine? We'd have to put a compilation together every single time.
But just in order of our priorities of what we need, I can't see it happening in January. United View Scout has a super chat here. They say. The real Ronaldo, KG and I saw his clips and he's okay. Not amazing or anything, but I get your point. We should be more open to international players. And United View Scout also says rumors are bullshit, mate. He ain't coming. So even United View Scout's like, he ain't coming. Like, let's just get that straight. He ain't coming.
If he did, and Manchester United didn't do an announcement video whereby every super chat this guy's put in to you over the last 2 years of sign Kim Min-jae, sign Kim Min-jae, sign Kim Min-jae, and then it's him holding up a United shirt. Could you imagine? It would take social media by storm. Oh.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot because when they played against Liverpool, he was playing.
Yeah.
I didn't even remember that. That's the Kim Min-jae. I didn't actually remember that. Yeah.
But also, you would say too, like he has just signed for Napoli this summer.
It's just signed,
and that was to replace Koulibaly. So
yeah.
I can't imagine they'd want to lose another centre back in another transfer.
And any centre back who comes in to replace Koulibaly, even though you might say Koulibaly's been a bit up and down since he's come from Chelsea, hasn't exactly lit it up, but he hasn't been awful. He's been somewhere in between. But what he was to Napoli for so long is instrumental. So for them to go for Kim Min-jae to replace him. Then clearly, like United View Scout says, the guy's got ability. The guy's got. Doesn't mean he's coming to Man United, but it means the guy's got ability. That's what it does mean.
Yeah, and it's just, I guess, it's one of those strange transfer rumors, isn't it? I like you. I don't even look. John Murto himself said probably not going to do any business in January. Like, don't get your hopes up. Ten Hag might want it, but don't get your hopes up. Essentially, but what I would say is that if we do business, probably looking at like a right back. A backup right back, maybe something. Depends on what happens with Ronaldo, but I'd be very surprised if it was a centre back, specifically Kim Min-jae. But we can hope. Put it out into the universe.
Yeah, 100%. Neil Yo-Yo says, Flex, I voted for you for best content creator. It's looking peak when Mr. Hello Guys is in there, but hold a light 5 to buy a Magnum. Yeah, I'm gonna need all the Magnum I can get on that night because when they read out the things for that, I might just exit the room. And like I said, Maya Jammer's in there as well. I think Mark Goldberg is in there as well.
Is that what it's costing to buy a Magnum nowadays? £5.
Yeah. And not the ice lolly Magnum, because I know you probably think it's that.
What's a Magnum?
Do you think it's a Magnum that you think it's the?
I thought so. Yeah. That's expensive. £5 for an ice lolly, for an ice cream. What's a Magnum?
It's cultural differences.
The thing is, I'm not even doing a bit here.
I know you're
What
not.
What
I
is a
know.
Magnum?
No. This is the most organic. This is the most organic example
beer.
of. It's not a beer.
It's a
It's
drink.
It's tonic wine.
Tonic.
Like, yeah, it's really strong. It's Caribbean, Jamaican drinks. Like.
I like tonic as well. I like gin and tonic. Let's
No,
do
it's
a bit
not.
of
No,
also.
it's not like gin and tonic. It's not like that.
Magnum.
You need a
I'm
Maggie,
just
Owen.
I'm just
You
getting
need a
Magnum
Maggie.
PI on Google. That's a
my
crime
God.
series. Oh, Magnum tonic wine. Gotcha.
Yeah. It's quite
All
strong.
right.
It's sweet. It's real yardman drink that.
Never heard of it.
Cultural.
Never even seen the bottle.
Cultural differences.
You can get more for a £5 as well. This is fairly cheap. So
I knew as well, that you'd be like, Magnum, bloody hell, I know they come in a few different flavors and that, like the almond one, the mint could be a bit more expensive.
I was thinking they've got smaller as well. They've got smaller.
They've got the mini ones.
Unless you're thinking of a tub, which you can get a Magnum tub of ice cream now, which has sort of bits of sort of shell in it. You can get that. That's about £5.
Why do you think I'll be having a Magnum at the Football Content Awards though?
Because you do what I do, eat your feelings. Don't drink them. It's bad for you.
Owen, do you know what now? Do you know what? I'm going to get you a bottle of Magnum. It's a really strong Jamaican drink, very famous drink in Jamaica and here. And I'm going to get you one. It's very strong, very sweet, but they get you waived. So I won't get you to have it on stream. You can have it in your own time. But I am going to, I've got to get Owen a Magnum now. And actually, I tell you what, in the next episode of UV Raw, you will see, Owen's taste test.
Well, I've said I want to do a members video where I'm trying sort of Jamaican stuff, Jamaican food,
actually,
Jamaican drink.
Yes, we'll do that. I tell you what, we'll take you to a Caribbean restaurant / takeaway or whatever. We'll get you like some curry goat and rice, some ackee and saltfish.
Is it spicy? Because we went to Nando's and I had tears in my eyes.
Yeah, and that was, you had lemon and herb, didn't you, or something like that? Yeah.
What up? I had one up because I didn't want to embarrass myself at the counter.
Yeah,
went to the till and I went lemon and herb. And she was like, "Really?" I went, "No, medium." So.
And it's still bun off his mouth. Proper, like you get some Iscovich fish, like it's got like Scotch bonnets on it and that as well. Like you can get some jerk prawns. You can, oxtail, whatever. I'll pattern you up. Man, and we'll get you get some Guinness punch. I bet you might like that. Yeah, it's made with like kind of cinnamon, nutmeg, Guinness, milk. It's really nice. You can get some carrot cake. There's loads. There's loads we can get you having. 100%. There you go. Let's get the rest of the super chats out. After Lil Yo-Yo said he kindly voted for me in best content creator, knowing that I'd lose. Troy Superstar says, "Good morning. We are beating Man City and top of the league by January. Just love being a United supporter. Ten Hag, we are winning the league." To be fair to Troy Superstar, Troy's been on this for time. Like he's making sure he just keeps coming with this, that him and KG believe. Lil Yo-Yo has another super chat, says, "We need to see Owen try a Magnum." 100%. I'm going to get him on the Maggies. Owen, just so you know, they're called Maggies as well, like by street name, slang name to Maggie.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And Lil Yo-Yo has also become a member as well. I thought Lil Yo-Yo was already a member, so big up. Okay, I didn't know that. Big
might
up.
Be a re-membership. It might be.
Yeah, it could be. It could be a re-membership.
Got the green badge. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, actually, yeah. So big up to Lil Yo-Yo, always supporting, and it was actually great to meet Lil Yo-Yo in real life.
Yeah, it was.
Actually. It was wicked at the 100K party. I can't wait to do something similar than that again. Like when we're at maybe 200K or 500 or whatever. We'll definitely do.
That was the best thing, wasn't it? Bumping into people and they would go like, "I'm Lil Yo," and you go, "Oh my god, yes!"
Yeah, it's a name to the tab.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, so and last topic of today is Henderson's England chances. Now, I think this was kind of phrased in the media as like he was having a little bit of a dig at Man United, etc., etc. But we read it, Owen, and we thought differently about it. I thought we should discuss it in a bit of a different way.
Yeah, he did an interview with Soccer AM, and he was asked, "What do you think the chances are of you making the World Cup squad?" And being the England number one. And he said, quotes, "I think I'm behind at the minute for sure. Obviously, last season not playing much, and the other lads have done unbelievably well. I knew the best chance to do that, make the World Cup squad, was coming out on loan and playing football and being in Gareth Southgate's eye and hopefully leaving a good impression." Now, some people have read that, and like you said, it's been reported, oh, he's had another dig saying he wasn't playing last season and he had to go out on loan to get in Gareth Southgate's eye. And I'm not defending what Henderson said in the past, because again, I went a bit mental on a stream talking about the caged animal stuff. But with this, it's just talking about reality. He didn't play last season. The other England goalkeepers have done very well. It's a really competitive spot right now. There are like legitimately 4 keepers that all have a reasonable shot at being the number one. And to get involved in that discussion, he had to play games. He wasn't going to play games at Manchester United season because he wasn't the number one. David De Gea was. So I don't think that it's anything too disrespectful, shall we say, to Manchester United. But I would also say I don't expect him to start for England in Qatar. I don't think he'll be England's number one.
No
Who
chance.
do you think will be?
Pickford. It will be Pickford for me.
You still think so?
Pickford. Yeah.
Not Ramsdale?
Nah. There's something about Gareth Southgate to me in evidence that suggests he doesn't have the bottle for those types of decisions, like changing your number one, like in the tournament. Like Ramsdale ain't even been playing in the. Like I know that when there's been injuries and stuff like that, but Pope played the other day, didn't he? Is Ramsdale even there? Did he get in?
Was he in the squad? Josh in the air? Was he in the squad? Arsenal correspondent.
Yeah.
Don't
know. How much he cares? Yeah, don't know. Yeah, doesn't follow the international duty. Doesn't want these Arsenal players to do well. But I don't remember him playing too many games for England. Well, you know what? Let's do it now. Let's get a couple of stats right. I don't think he's even.
But this is what's bizarre about Gareth Southgate, right? So he wants to be this sort of faux Pep Guardiola, where he's playing progressive tiki-taka football, which he can't do, and then he doesn't play the goalkeeper that's probably best suited for that in Ramsdale because he plays at a club level. It's just bizarre. To be honest. And again, I understand his perspective. We'll say like with Pickford, because he said the same thing about Maguire and those other players of they've never let me down in the past, so I'm going to stick with them. Even that's kind of BS because they kind of have let you down in the past because you didn't win stuff when you should have.
He's played 3 times for England. He made his debut when we beat the San Marino 10-0 that game. Fucking hell, Jesus, 10-0.
Oh, did you see that as well in the Nations League about the only 2 teams not to score from open play in the Nations League, England and San Marino?
Oh, no. Oh no, that's poor. Yeah, and one was last year, 21, and this year, 22. He's made 2 appearances. So yeah, he hasn't played in he hasn't played this. He ain't gonna. I would be very, very surprised. Gareth Southgate's very loyal. I think under his tenure, let's see if it goes past this World Cup. We'll see. Depends how he does. I think. I've got a feeling that it might not go the way we want it to go, and he'll just think, right, I've had a good crack at this. I've had 3 major tournaments, and we've fallen just short desperately in one, and I don't think we fall just short of this one. I think we go out, mate. I just got a bad feeling about this one. I feel like we'll just about make it out the groups, the group, and then we might fall first round.
And I think with Henderson, I don't think he's going to be, pulling up trees at Forest.
Oh, hey, nice. Nice. I don't know how long it took you to wait for me to stop talking before you go. I've got this Henderson gem. I need Flex to stop talking so I can drop it.
Yeah, about 2 minutes. I don't think he's going to I'll do it again. Pulling up trees and not Forest. Good enough to be like, oh, he's got to be starting for England. I don't think that's going to be the case. I mean, he's already conceded a lot of goals at Forest. Not that that's always his fault, but he's not going to be, I don't think, putting in the performances enough
to make him surpass Ramsdale.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't see that. That's what's wild. Let's be honest. Like we can sort of joke about Arsenal all we want, but they are like top of the league, and he is in the side that factually is playing the best.
Yeah,
in terms of numbers on the board, he still can't get the England squad.
Rate on him. Yeah,
go in the England team. That's wild.
Yeah, no, I agree. You can't hate on Aaron Ramsdale. Look, Dean Henderson, for anyone who wants him to kind of get another shot at Man United, etc. We'll wait and see what Erik ten Hag thinks. But for England, I think he's going to have a tough season at Nottingham Forest. Clearly, they're going to concede a lot of goals like they have been doing. And Pickford, I think once he's back fit again, he'll just instantly be number one. Gareth Southgate goes with tried and tested. We've seen it. We've seen it with Maguire. We've seen it with Shaw. We've seen it with, I don't know, Declan Rice or whoever else. There's other players as well. He's got his favourites. We've seen it with Grealish. Always gets in somewhere or thereabouts. So look, I feel that I don't see him being number one.
What do you think?
Chance,
what do you think briefly before we wrap it up? What do you think about tonight with England?
Who are we playing again? Germany at Wembley.
Germany. I think it might be away.
Nah, it's at home. It's at Wembley.
It's at home?
Wembley.
What do you think?
I don't even know what to say, Owen. I like
because you didn't watch the game the other night, did you?
No, I read about it.
I was messaging you
during the
game, going, "Oh, it was awful, Flex. Honestly, it was so bad. It was just awful. It was
so Gareth Southgate saying that Josh saying it's rubbish there, no, yeah. Gareth Southgate saying it was a step in the right direction because we arrived in good situations where normally we would score. That's what I saw him saying.
Yeah, but we didn't. Like it was just we were so dull and so dry and just and it's so frustrating because you look at some of the players on the pitch, you're going, these players, like, you've got this great group of attacking players. All right, maybe some of your defensive options aren't great, right? But then use your strengths, play attacking football, but he can't do it. And then this is what's so annoying about him is plays a back five, 70 minutes. It's clearly not working.
Oh, was it a back five? Was it a back five?
Yeah. Well, back three, right?
Yeah.
Saka as well. England player of the year, plays left wing back. Okay.
Some people like him there, though. Some people think he'd be all right there.
And literally, but then he plays that back three, back five, 70 minutes. It's not working. The moment we go 1-0 down, he goes, go to a back four. Well, it's a bit late now. You know what I mean? Why are you being so reactive? Be proactive. The best coaches, they make changes before things happen because they can see they're going wrong. You don't go, this is going wrong, wait for it to go wrong, and then go, okay, now I make a sub. It's just,
I saw that Italy team, and I said, Gabbiadini. I said, I said, that's not the Gabbiadini from Southampton a few years back.
They haven't even qualified for the World Cup, justifiably so. And you look at how they won the Euros, and you go, they got a bit lucky. You know, they got to a final. And it's just honestly, it's a waste. It feels like, as someone again who, and people older than me have gone through this for ages, but certainly in my lifetime, I've had now a couple of golden generations for England, and it's the same story every time, which you go, why are we wasting these players? Why aren't they playing in the right positions? Or why do we have coaches that don't know what they're meant to be doing with them? It's beyond frustrating.
But who, I was reading a thing on 360 page the other day that their admin wrote, and actually it was a decent piece. They were basically saying they think that England fans are being too harsh and it's always change for change. And there's all this talk for elite managers to come in at international level. But he was saying that international level isn't littered with elite managers. Enrique maybe at best, but he said, other than that, he goes, name me the elite manager that you could get out of club level, an elite manager that can come and take over this England team. Is it necessarily about an elite manager or just somebody who has different ideas?
I think, even that, I would say, okay, Enrique, Hansi Flick is easily an elite coach.
That's he said that you can get. He's saying that you you like he said a realistic target that England
Poch
can
is available. Poch is available. I heard he wanted to take. I heard that. I can't remember where it was. I wish I had the source with me or whatever. But there was something like he'd be up for taking Aston Villa. If he's up for taking Aston Villa, he could be up for taking England.
Poch, okay, yeah. Eddie Howe, you're not going to get. Potter, you're not going to get.
No.
Sean Dyche is available.
Could you imagine?
Probably be more effective than Gareth Southgate. At least we'll have a style.
Yeah.
Arsene Wenger's available. Arsene Wenger.
No.
Would you do that? Would you have Arsene Wenger?
Arsene Wenger. I think that ship, floated away a while ago, isn't it? Because he's always been linked, hasn't he? I think he's been offered a couple of times. Yeah. Lil Yo-Yo says Thomas Tuchel. Why not? Wins tournaments.
Tommy T. Oh, Tommy T. Yeah, exactly. United View Scout says, bruv, you got to talk Dallo. Did you see Portugal? We did this last night. Part of our title was called "Is Dallo the Real Deal?" We spent a lot of time talking about Diogo Dallo. So United View Scout, literally, we're at the end of the stream now. Literally, go back and watch yesterday evening's stream, full view. We spent a good segment talking about Diogo Dallo and how good he is now, and what he's been doing. So yeah, guys, we've come to the end of the show. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Remember, you can vote for us in the Football Content Awards. Link is pinned in the chat. You can do it on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. You can join the UV Members Club as well. The link is also in the video description below. We'll be back with another video tomorrow, 9 a.m. And it's Flexing KG show tomorrow, 6 p.m. as well.
Yes.
We're out of here. Peace.